Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happiness with PIRET. In this podcast, we'll talk about happiness and how you can have more of it in your life. My name is PIRET, and I'm your happiness expert. And today we talk with Aimee. She's joining us from Puerto Rico, and she's holistic wellness expert. Hi, Aimee.
Hi, Pires. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And before we start, let's introduce yourself and tell what you do and what just basically what do you do and who you are.
Yes, hi. My name is Aimee, and I am from Puerto Rico, and I'm a holistic wellness expert. I've been in the field for about 15 years, and some of my therapies include hypnosis, meditation, yoga nidra, therapy, counseling. Specialized in trauma. It's been one of my specialties for a long time. And we love to speak about and do trainings about holistic wellness in regards to managing anxiety, stress, depression, and all of the above. So thank you for inviting me to your podcast, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I remember you helped me so much, and like the work that you do is amazing.
Yes, thank you
Hmm.
so much, and I am so proud that we were able to meet each other and work through it together. And for me, it's a blessing. I am so happy to be here with you today because we worked through this, through fear and speaking in public. So I am so happy to be your guest in your podcast.
Thank you. And let's go right to the topics, and let's talk about what we start all the shows with. In your mind, what is happiness?
So it is very important the way that I teach, right? I teach, for me, the Oriental philosophers are my teachers. And, when I started digging into my brain, digging into my mind, I had a different concept about what happiness was. But the more that I've been learning the Oriental philosophy of happiness, is just a state of mind, right? We could be happy in a moment, sad in another moment, angry in another moment, but these are just state of minds. So we embrace that state of mind regardless of what it is. Sometimes we're looking for something to be outside us. So I want to be happy. I don't want to be sad. And what we create is resistance to what is. When we go into the brain, it is just a memory. So we may have memories of what happiness is to us, and we may hold on to that memory. But maybe that's the past experience. And I am missing out what happiness could be if I accept the learning experience of what is happening now. So if I was happy in the morning, and then I had an accident while I was going to work, then that happiness dissipates, right? And then I am not happy. But when I am being content, when I am in the present moment, I see I am going to be content even if I had this accident. Because this is a learning experience for me that I have to be more present, more here and the now. So to summarize, when I attach to a state of mind, then I don't accept my other state of mind, my other emotions, my other sensations. And we will go a little bit deeper today on understanding what are those emotions, what are those sensations, and how they are attached to memories, to our brain, right?
Hmm. And like this episode, I also wanted to focus on like we're planning to focus on connecting happiness and trauma and show people some ways how they can return from trauma to back to the happiness state. Then, so
Yes.
but and then that comes to like we talked about what is happiness, let's talk about now what can people understand as trauma.
Yes. Well, trauma is an emotional wound that was psychologically attached to our brain. So our job, the brain, the job of the brain is to be safe at all times. So we attach safety maybe to our parents, maybe to our home, maybe to our community. We learn that safety somewhere. If we didn't learn that safety, then we look for models that give us safety. Maybe that safety is I don't want to be near anybody because that keeps me safe. Maybe that safety is I am going to get an animal and that will be my safety. So people look into safety different ways depending on how they were raised. Most of us, they didn't taught us security, right? So the brain needs to create an image on what security is. If that security is touched or disrupted, then it becomes a trauma. It could be an experience, like we were talking a little bit earlier about an accident. I had a car accident. That is a massive trauma because every time you're in a car, you're going to go back to that moment. So for you to protect that brain, you don't want to be in the car. So that's the image you created around security. So if it's a physical trauma, I cut my hand, so you won't like to use that hand anymore. You will try to use your other hand to be protected. So you created an action through an image. If it's something psychologically, like somebody abused you sexually or verbally, you don't want to be speaking a lot in front of others because you create an image that the more you stay quiet, the more protective you are. So the brain, depending on your experience, create an image and then create another image that is the safety, that is the protector. So that is what trauma means, and in more simple words, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the problem is like with that, a lot of people stay in that state for years and years, and they're like they don't find a way out. So
Mhm.
it can get worse because of that, or like, and that's the thing. Like, how can they start removing the trauma? What would be that like first steps if they do they even understand right away it's a trauma, or it takes a little bit time to understand that they're avoiding something because of something
So
happening?
let's go to the beginning. The beginning is every single human being is the forces that every single human being are drive is pain or pleasure, right? Either you're seeking for pleasure or you're avoiding pain, right? And
Mm-hmm.
pain or pleasure is the two forces that drive everyone. In the Oriental aspect is attachment or detachment, right? If I get attached to something or someone, I will be protected. Nothing's going to happen to me, right? But if I am detached, I'm avoiding everything. I don't want to face anything because I am afraid. Both are driven by fear.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from pain or pleasure are driven by fear. So we were talking before if the brain take an image depending on the scenario, trauma in a car, trauma in a physical or verbal abuse, or trauma if I cut a limb, it is just an image. So the brain is images and forms. That's how the brain works. So if I am attached to that image, pain, it's not going to bring any pleasure because I am attached to that image. That happened to me. Somebody tried to kill me. And now I don't go out from 8 p.m. to 12 because that was the time that the attacker came and wanted to kill me. So that is the way the brain protects the human, and the brain is just stuck in there. So if we want to learn how to unstuck the brain, we need to create a different routine, a different pattern. And the first thing that I teach my clients is you need to separate yourself from that image. And that image is the intellect, that image is the subconscious, that image is the ego. So, in
Mm-hmm.
order to detach ourselves from the ego, the first thing I tell my clients is give it a name. Just give it a name. Give it a funny name. You know,
Mm-hmm.
balloon or purple. You can call it, whatever you want to call
Even
it.
even just like a real name, like a person's name, or if sometimes there could be a person's name, and I wanted to like give some examples of as well, like we were saying, like examples of severe traumas, but like something that can be just simple daily things, like some
Mhm.
little things that people don't notice right away, like you were saying, like somebody attacked or something like this, but there could be something simple as somebody said something really mean to them, and that bothers now them for like days. And like I had something that was said to me in childhood, and still it was still full image in my brain, to kind of like to this day I can remember the moment when that person said to me,
Yeah.
like small things like this. they still they might not be traumatic as stop us doing something, but they're still stuck in our brain, those images.
Yeah,
So
normally because I'm identify with that. For example, if a person um comes to me, and I had a lot of clients happen to this, they said you're fat, right? And you're ugly and you're fat, and you're attached to that image. For you, that image is important. So you created a picture of that image, like an imprint. So trauma is an imprint. I took a picture of that image and I attached to it because I identify with being fat and ugly. But if I know that I am more than that, if I know that I am more than a body, if I am more than a mind, so I can understand this better. But if I am attached to a body and an image, then it's going to be traumatic for me because I see myself as a fat and ugly person. But if I don't see myself as a fat and ugly person, I see myself as a kind human, connected to universe, connected to God, connected to everything that is it available, connected to animals. I do not attach to that comment. The problem is that I believe that I am fat and ugly. And if I believe that I am fat and ugly, the person that told me connected with that image that I had. So nobody can tell you anything unless you're attached to it, unless you identify with it. So what I do is I create this person. I say, hey, just call it a name. That fat and ugly, it's called Smith. So Smith is the fat and ugly within you. It is the program that you have within you. That's not who you are in essence. Because in essence, if you believe in a higher power that is yourself, that is not identified with anything or anyone, then nothing can touch you. So that image, somebody can tell me, hey, you're fat and ugly. And I said, I don't care because I'm not attached to that image of
mhm,
Smith. So
mhm,
then I start to separate myself from the image. But I observe the image because the image wants to be victimized depending on how you were raised. If you were raised without love, without security, most of us are raised without love and security. And then you attach to those images because you think, oh, this is only the thing I have. I have the image of a fat and ugly kid. So if you call that fat and ugly kid Smith, not Aimee, not Aimee, so I'll be okay because that is an episode of my movie, right? We all have different movies in our life. So that's an episode of a movie. What can I do as a director of that movie? I edit it. I can edit that movie. So now I call it Smith. Me,
Mhm.
you can go and do whatever you want. If you can want to feel victimized, you want to get stuck in that episode, just get stuck in that episode. But the reality is that's not my essence, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
not
then I
you
go
anymore.
anymore. Exactly, because then I go to the past. So that
Mhm.
imprint that I took, that photo that I took of that moment, then it becomes real, right?
Mhm.
So you don't want it to become real. You don't want to stick together in yourself for a long time because that will damage then your immune system, your central nervous system. And that's
Mhm.
what you need to protect. So this is the major thing in trauma victims. How can I protect my immune system, my nervous system? That's number one thing that I teach. How you do that? How can I protect myself from that imprint that was an image of an idea of who I was, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it's
it's you.
usually is well, not usually, but like all the time, that is not true.
Mm-hmm.
That is not true. That is just somebody else's perception, or you made it up, but based on somebody else. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never true.
No,
Like that
and
kind of like,
more than a
like,
perception, it's a projection of who you are, right? Because if I tell you, hey, Pirate, you're fat and ugly, is a projection of me, of what is it inside me that I haven't dealt with it. I haven't dealt with my kindness. I haven't dealt with my security. I haven't dealt with my beauty. So I am
mm-hmm,
projecting to you, you know, and every time I project to you, because in the world there's only one, we are the world. We are not separated. I am not Puerto Rico and you're not Florida. We are one world. We are one humanity. And if I tell you something, I am projecting what I don't like about me with you.
mm-hmm. Because I just have this example for like I watched a YouTube video just I think yesterday I watched YouTube video, and it was pretty good video until that person who did a video, he was calling somebody else. He was talking about other people videos, and he called another person ugly. In that, from that moment, I didn't like the video anymore because that made actually the person doing the video ugly for me than the person who he was talking about, because I was like, you making a public video and you calling somebody in public ugly who is also a public figure, so it's not okay, you
Mhm.
know it's not okay thing to do. So
So
it's
it's
like you
like
were
you're
saying, it
saying,
reflected who he was, or whatever insecurities he had, instead of actually like, because for first of all, that person that he said is ugly is not even ugly. And in my like, I don't think that person is ugly.
Mhm.
So it was just weird for me that people just randomly say things like that. It's
Yeah. It's always have to be with their modeling of their childhood. You know, how if I am modeling my father and my mother or my caretaker that treat me without security, that were treated without love. So that's the projection that I'm gonna give away. Because if I'm arrogant, if I'm egocentric, if I am always right, then there has to be some point in your life that you heard that. So I've always, before when somebody tells me something and I have a client that told me, well, I'm ugly, I said, well, who told you that? Well, I am insincere. Well, who told you that? I always said, write the who. Oh, there's always a who,
mm-hmm,
because you are not like this in nature. Nature is perfect, right? Nature has nothing wrong. We are wrong when we attach to something the pain and the pleasure, the person that said that to us. So we got to be in the here and now. And that is a conflict because most of us, we don't know when is here and now. We don't know who told us, and we repeat. And we are based only on memory, repeating, repeating, repeating. That's why we never learn anything. And when we are in school, we never learn. We repeat, we memorize.
mm-hmm,
So when we become adults, we repeat and memorize. So there's always go back to when you said something, doesn't matter what you said about you or about the other, is where is the who. Where did you hear that? and who said
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's never about you, because in your beautiful nature inside, nothing can come brown, nothing can come, bad for the other. Like, I cannot tell you anything bad about yourself, because my soul is not like that. I've been digging a lot inside myself. So that is the one question that I always tell people. Just let's have you dig inside yourself to realize, is that really truth about you? Because the only thing that counts in reality is what you think about yourself. It's not what other people think about yourself.
Mm-hmm. I wanna point out the way I start doing as well. I start listening to my thoughts, and I can like focus and say like some of the thoughts are not even my thoughts. Like there's thoughts of like something. Some thoughts are my mom thoughts. Things are my ex husband's thoughts. Like things like I
Mm,
from TV. So I recognize if it doesn't actually connect to me, and I'm hear it in my brain, and then I was like, who would say that? Who
mm-hmm.
would actually say that? And I go back like, oh, this would have been this person. This was from this person. And then I can disconnect from it because that is not what I'm thinking. That is just, I'm thinking is that thought is in my brain because of somebody else,
That's
you
an
know?
excellent exercise. And I would like to share that exercise that you just did. When you listen to yourself talk, just see who is talking through you, because normally it's not us, because we're
Mm-hmm.
not giving time to really dig deep and go inside ourselves. And this is my learning experience. Okay, let me touch my heart and see, okay, where is this thought coming from? Is this is created by me, by my divine self, my compassion to myself, my kindness to myself. And that's one exercise that I've been sharing in my group of alternative healing for people, is like, go touch your heart every single day, and this is me, really. This is my the love that I have for me. This is the kindness that I have for me, or this is my ego. This is what I think it's supposed to be, or this is my memory, or this is what
Mm-hmm.
I learned many years ago that I'm repeating. And that's what we see in society today. Every morning when you ask someone, hey, how's your day? They go about the news, about the weather. They're repeating what others said. They're not in contentment, right? So for me, happiness is, I am aware of me at this moment, and I am aware of the other. Like, I'm really listening to the other, or I'm listening to answer immediately and defend
Mm-hmm.
myself. So I gotta be
That
aware.
Yeah, that's really important to understand. Like the way I was reading from one book as well that opened my mind is pay attention if you like exactly like you were saying. Are you listening? Are you listening, or are you listening to thoughts and you're already preparing the response? Like you were saying, like you're not even like a lot of people. They don't even listen what the other person is saying. They're already preparing what they're gonna say in their mind.
100%. Most time, I will say 99.9% of the time, people are listening to respond, but they're not listening to what you just said, right? If I was listening for what you just said, I would say, hey, you read in a book this, and this, and I like that. Tell me more about that book. And I stay close, and I look at you, and I listen, and I enjoy your listening. And that is being content in the morning. But most of the time, it's just the ego. I'm going to tell her about the book that I read, because this is
Mm-hmm.
about me. So, Pirate, let me tell you about the book that I read. I read a better book than you. So I am defending myself. That's 100% ego. And that is not listening. That is not accepting the other. That is not understanding the other, engaging with the other. And
Mm-hmm.
that is most of the time that we are living in this society of selfishness, of constant individuality, of constant fragmentation. I am fragmented because I want to talk about me all the time. That's why relationships, most of the time, they don't work, because it's
Mhm.
all about, let me tell you about what's happening in my relationship. He doesn't listen to me. She doesn't listen to me. She doesn't take care of my needs. He doesn't take care of my needs. He doesn't take care of my babies. He doesn't pay the alimony. He doesn't live in a comfort space. I don't have my car. I don't have a job. It is all about me. And how can you expect people to be happy and not traumatized if I go to fix something, but I want to fix the other? I don't want to fix
Mhm.
it. It's so
Mhm.
easy to go outside and say, okay, I need to be in an environment of peace before I can talk to you. No, you need to create that environment of peace. You need to create that environment of trust. You need to create that environment because if you don't create that environment, then your energy is really low. In my perspective of line of work in holistic, it's all about energy. You either have high energy or low energy, right?
Mhm.
Frequency. If you go into a room, into your partner's room, into your work environment, you know if there is a high energy or a low energy, and
Yes.
you feel it.
Mhm.
So if you want to change the low energy, then you come with a high energy. You change that energy. But if you come with the low energy, then there's going to be conflict, there's
Mhm.
gonna be zero communication. So it's all about frequency. It's not about shape, color, height. It is only about the frequency that you go into a room when there's another human being. Because animals are like that. Animals, they don't get in conflict. You can get a dog fighting with another dog and they turn a corner and they don't remember. They don't have memory. They don't go to
Mhm.
psychologists or psychiatrists, you know. They
Mhm.
just forget. But we do that. We fight with a person and we take an imprint and it becomes a trauma. And I just
Mhm.
avoid pain, 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 pain. And I'm looking for pleasure. I just start looking for something to really kill that pain. I don't talk. I don't resolve the situation. I don't look for help. I talk to 15 or 20 friends about it, and I just completely start talking about it. The pain gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't resolve.
Mhm. Or like even if you don't talk with somebody about it, you just roll it in your brain, like a conversation in your head. It just like rolls and rolls and rolls, and you have to like find outlet to get out of that. Like not even recording, but a repeat.
Yeah, it's just the memory. That's the work of the brain. The brain will bring you the past or an expectation in the future or another story that you want to create that happen. So it's
Mm-hmm.
back and forward every single minute of your time. When you wake up, brain, we call it Smith, it's going to start talking and shattering. Okay, this is going to happen today, or that happened last time, or you don't want to happen this again. And it brings you a lot of information. So, what people do, they start doing exercise, they start talking to people, they go to social media, they start eating a lot, drinking a lot, smoking a lot, doing anything of a habit that could take me away from that brain. I will not look forward into that brain. I will not sit and figure out. I will not really go deep within me and say, okay, attack me, anger, depression, anxiety, and just, I'm here to listen to you. I will accept you. No, we don't do that. Then we take a break between 11 o'clock and 3 p.m. And then at 3 p.m., brains go again and they just chatting just begin. And at night, you drink alcohol, you get marijuana in your system, you get all the psychedelics, all the medicine to calm it down. But the next day is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we need to accept the trauma. We need to accept that the image was taken, that the photo was taken. And then we understand that we go deeply within and we talk to it. We said, Smith, thank you for that trauma event. Thank you for that crisis. Thank you for that anger. Thank you for that misery. Thank you for that sadness. Let's let's go deep with it. Let me get in here for a little while, and I'm not going to move until you leave, because nothing is permanent. The trauma happened, but what 20 years ago happened, the trauma. So why you keep bringing it up? Why do we keep reviving it? Like, why do I keep thinking about it? If it's already happened, I cannot do anything about it. What I can do is learn from it, accept it, right? On the Oriental
Mm-hmm.
path, we need to accept what happened and grow from it and create a better understanding psychologically, because what is affected is our brain, and our brain affect our heart, and our heart affect every condition in our body, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
heart is the number one organ in our brain, in our body. It's not our brain. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the heart that manages every single part of your body. In order to release that anger, release that trauma, we need to accept that it happened, that we can do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I want to go. Like now, we have this problem. We have that trauma. So next steps. How? What are the next steps? Like we already said, name the thing. So how do we move now? Let's talk about how do we move from that towards back to happy state of mind.
Well, it is a process. Of course, it's
Mm-hmm.
not one, two, three. For people like maybe the fat and ugly will be an example of something that could easily be diffused very easily. But someone, something very traumatic, like an accident, like a sexual abuse, like a verbal abuse, that's more traumatic. If it's a parent, it's more traumatic, right? Because if it's your parent that told you that since you were a child, that is stuck in your brain for 20, 30, 40 years. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do here in All Senses Wellness Center is taking a day at a time. We give it a name. That's the first step. Then we give you some mindfulness techniques where you are going to be more aware of it, the language that you speak to yourself. Be aware of that language. If you're constantly telling you, no, well, I'm ugly, well, I'm ugly, well, then you're not changing anything. It doesn't matter how many techniques I give you, but if you don't change the language, the way that you speak to yourself every day, you have to be aware of that. So I would write a
Mm-hmm.
list of the things that I said to myself every day. If I tell myself, oh, I'm tired, I'm ugly, I cannot do it, I don't know. So I will write a list of all those words that I said. So I'm conscious about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm conscious about what I'm telling myself. And then I will find the opposites of those words, right? I'm kind to myself. I'm compassionate. I'm beautiful today. I'm extraordinary. And then, change the pattern and just put it a yes at the end. There's this exercise of yes and no, right? Just said, I'm compassionate. Yes. And just keep yourself, the brain, the activity of the mind, not the entity, right? We believe that the brain is an entity. It's just an
Okay.
activity. It's an
Mm-hmm.
activity, right? It's a
Yeah.
chatter. So, Smith, okay, Smith, I'm wonderful this morning. Do you feel wonderful this morning? Yes. And just reassure, like you're reassuring a baby or a little child, right? One of my teachers of yoga, Kamini Desai, said, we teach our mind like a brat, like a child that is like conditioning, like you need to stay down, you need to sit down, you need to shut up. And we let the mind do whatever they want. Like we treat a child and we doesn't give them discipline. And we just keep the child doing whatever they want. So we need to teach that child, Smith, to do whatever we want, not whatever they want. And the language is the number one. Second, the physiology, right? The
Mm-hmm.
posture. If your posture is like this or like this, that brain of yours, Smith, is going to take you down in a minute. So
Mm-hmm.
Harvard says in a study that if you do the superhero position, like the Superman and the superhero position, right? Or I am so strong, just even doing a change of your physiology can drastically change the wave patterns of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to a high vibration music. If you feel that that brain is going to the story, to the movie, to the trauma, just put a nice sound a nice music, that could lift you up. Start jumping, start screaming, start dancing, right? I was so fortunate to take a class with Tony Robbins, and he has in a class that he gives you, he takes you 11 hours in a day. And for us to be attentive, alerted, he put us to jump every 10 to 15 minutes. And we are just so tired at 10 o'clock at night. And he said, no, you're not tired. Your brain wants to be tired. Your brains want to condition yourself to be tired. Start hitting yourself. And he called it like a movement of action, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you see Tony Robbins, he hits himself all the time. He applauds all the time. He does all these movements to keep himself in a state of alert and a state of
Mm-hmm.
here and now. So physiology is such an important, because if you see a person with your shoulders down, with the eyes looking down, they're in depressed mode or they're in a thinking mode. You need to remove yourself from Smith, from that brain pattern. And then physiology, movements, radical movement will help you bring yourself back to the present. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, Smith. And let's do whatever we want now. We're going to jump. We're going to do a power pose. We're going to do anything to get us out of our brain.
Like what I actually do, like that made me realize why I probably do. Like one thing, like I always like it's just natural. Like I smile all the time, like, but it's already since childhood. It just became out of my. uh I don't know why. I don't even notice that I smile, but I see like people like smiling back to me. It's just like I know like I'm smiling, and people ask like, why are you always smiling? And it's just like I don't know. I don't have an answer. I just always smile. So, but like my brain, that gives my brain like idea that like there's happiness there. Another thing, what I do with like randomly and like even like works that I've done, like do a little movement like dance movement, like where it's like
Mhm.
the dance movement, and that like you say take the pose or make the gesture, like I do a little dance, and that makes me feel positive again.
Yeah, so how can you not? Because when you're moving your body, your brain is not being able to go to the mystery, to the past experience, to the trauma. It will move you to a better um, cell regeneration. It will give you air. It will give you another focus. And that is the third one. Where's your focus, right? Is emotion, energy in motion, right? So emotion is, if you're putting your energy in motion, you are immediately gonna start changing what you feel in your body. And I'm telling you, I have had people in panic attacks, and I can change immediately when we focus to another part of our body. We really need to change our focus, because if you're only feeling and thinking about sadness and trauma, that is a repeat action constantly. You're feeling and thinking, you're thinking and feeling, and the body is already programmed to that. So, how can
Hmm.
we change that? We need to change the focus of it immediately by doing something in physiology, by learning about the way we speak to each other. We need to learn to speak kindness to each other. So, those three main points I learned by Tony Robbins, and I love them because I teach them all the time. If you just change that physiology, focus, and just treat yourself with a better language, then you can become content. That's my favorite word, because again, every single emotion is a state of mind and it's not permanent. It comes and
Hmm.
goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. Knowing that if I am sad right now, it's going to pass, it will bring me contentment, because I know it will pass. But if every single day I tell my body, hey, body, you are sad today again. So, what the body is going to say is just, all the conditioning is like this, make this woman sad all day, because that's the
Hmm.
conditioning that she's giving us. And we are the masters of our brain. We are
Hmm.
those masters. And that's why we really need to pay attention to it. And
Hmm.
that is what I teach here in All Senses Wellness Center. How can I be? here and now. Let's find out. Let's dig deep. Because if we don't dig deep, how do we know? And I know we're going to do like a little meditation because that's another thing that when we're here and now, we can really understand how the body feels. But are we really connected to our body? I believe 99% of us are, our brain is in another place and our heart is in another place. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to bring that together
We
and
had to learn to do that. And I learned to do that, and that made a big like that. When you connect the mind and the body, and you're actually aware of both of them, that makes such a big difference in our life. But like you said, we're gonna do that little meditation, like we're gonna do it next. But I wanted to say also, you were the first one that I did the guided meditation with, and you opened that outlet for me, and that was just amazing. Like I after that, like my life changed. After learning the guided meditation, everything changed. I was able to do so much more. I was able to control. I was able to understand what my body was doing. I was able to understand what I'm thinking. Like what? Let's explain first to the viewers what is guided meditation, just with a few words before we're gonna do it, because
yeah.
it's amazing.
Yes, thank you. I know I remember because you were always in your brain, right? You are not and you needed to analyze everything and understand everything and very structured, very, your mind was very linear at that point. I remember. So meditation is just the observation of your mind, the observation of Smith, right? So we have our essence, our the presence of who we are, that you can call it whatever you want. People call it God, Alpha, Omega, universe. So that is who we are. So we don't identify with a form, with an idea. Who identifies with that form and the idea is the mind, is the brain, is the ego, is the intellect, is Smith, is that which I'm not, that which I was conditioned, wherever I was born, that has a set of conditionings and programs. So, what if I could see that programming and that condition, that past, that expectancy of the future as it is, not as I want it to be? If I can accept that, all those programs, all those conditions, all that toxicity in my mind, if I can accept it as it is, it will leave. It will actually leave, and another set of ideas of conditions will come. So in meditation, you sit tight. You can do it with your eyes open. You can do it with your eyes closed. But when we close our eyes, we are allowing for all that entertainment that is outside to be removed
Mm-hmm.
because we already have so much entertainment inside ourselves. Why do we need more, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
enough outside. So we need to close our eyes and go to the entertainment, the mind memories that we have inside, the ideas, the shapes, the forms, and we just allow it to be. So I close my eyes and I allow this to be in and out. With the guidance of a meditation, you can be more in your body, connect with your organs, with your inner self, and see, huh, I didn't notice that my belly was hurting. Oh, I didn't notice that I feel my right hand now that she mentioned. Oh, I didn't know that my left hand is so heavy. And I pay attention to my body. When
Mm-hmm.
you pay attention to your body, something magical happens. You start to know who you are. So you don't identify with the picture of your mind.
Exactly.
And when something really bad happens, when trauma happens, when your brain is fatigued, when your body hurts, you listen to it. You
Mm-hmm.
listen in silence.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take action.
And you're able to go inside and able to be inside, and you actually see, observe from inside, not just with the ego and not just with your like what is the body and everything. You're able to see with more.
Mhm. And
Okay.
that is important because if you are able to really see the pain, and you see the pain, and I tell you, where is that pain located? And you tell me, in the chest. Okay, let's go to the chest. Let's breathe into the chest. And let's speak kind words to the chest. Like, everything is okay. I am here and now. And you bring the touch. You bring sensations into your body. You accept the sensations into your body. And you give that nervous central system, you say, everything is going to be fine. And you breathe through it because we don't breathe enough with it. We are not connected with our breath, and our breath is everything. So the second part of the meditation is you need to breathe, and you need to breathe consciously. You need to
Mm-hmm.
know that you're breathing, because we
Mm-hmm.
don't know that we're breathing. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I see people, I don't even remember if I was breathing or not before I came here, because we are not connected with the breath. And the breath is just such an important part when you're going through any crisis, any trauma, any sadness, any depression, any anxiety. When you're anxious, when your breathing is like super high. When
Yep.
you're depressed, when your breathing is very shallow, very low. So if you know how to energize your breath, if you know how to balance your breath, you can be connected with yourself. And that is a meditation as well,
Mm-hmm.
breathing on.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Okay.
well, let's start the meditation then, and we'll do it for the viewer. And but I'm gonna do it at the same time, but like we'll talk to the viewer so they can do it with us. So if you're watching, just you tell them what they have to do.
Yes. So, when we're doing meditation, you need to sit in a comfortable position, but you need to sit down. The best meditation is when you sit comfortable with your legs on cross. You can put your shoulders down, your head straight, and again, you can look down or you can close your eyes. And actually, we're going to put our left hand on our chest and our right hand on our belly. And we're just going to settle down first. We're going to start breathing normal breath, and you're going to close your eyes and you're just going to breathe normally first. Just checking yourself out. How is my breath? If your breath is shallow or if your breath is too slow, just come to a balance in a moment. Come to a place where you say, okay, this is a breath that I like. This is a good breath for me. And check your body, check if you're aligned within yourself, if the shoulders are aligned, if your belly is breathing in and out, if you're moving your belly, if your chest is moving, if you're breathing from your belly, or if you're breathing from your chest. Just actually check that for a moment. I'll give you a moment of silence here. Hmm. And just see yourself breathing, really go inside yourself. And I said, I'm here now. I'm being kind with myself, especially with my belly and my heart. I'm being kind right now. And allowing that kindness to start going deeper. And just the first breath that we're going to start building here is a nose breath. So we're going to breathe through your nose when you're ready. And just going to hold for one moment at the top of your inhalation. You're going to slow it down and you're going to hold it there. And just for a moment, hold it. And just you're going to exhale through your nose and just exhale completely and hold it at the bottom just for a second. Hold it. And let's do a couple of more of those at your own ease and pace without straining, just breathing in. And at the top of that breath, just hold it through the nose and breathing out. And at the bottom of that breath, just hold it without strain. And you can let it go anytime you want. Just three more of those. Breathing at the top, holding, and not a specific type of breath. You don't need to deep breath here. It's not necessary. Just the breath that you can. Just allowing that hold at the bottom and hold. And one more. So or from the chest, or I'm doing a circle, breath, chest, and again breath, and in through your belly and out through your mouth. So now let's take a deep breath in and keeping your eyes closed, just exhale through your mouth. And this is an alkaline breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Gentle breath. Be aware of the alkaline in your breath in through your nose. And keep doing that for a couple of more rounds. Just connect with your in through the nose and out through the mouth. Two more of those in through the nose. Exhale completely until your lungs said, I have no more breath. The last one in. And now with your eyes closed, let's do one scanning of the whole body. Just going back to normal breath. Not any kind of breath, just breathing normal. Just pay attention to your head now. How is my head at this moment? If it's empty, completely empty, good. Just go to your face. Check your face. Your nose relaxed, your jaw a little open, your eyes completely closed. No tension on that face. Breathing gently. Check your chest now. Upper body, shoulders, arms and hands. How they feel. They feel tense. Relax them a little more. Very good. Let's go to the lower body now. Legs, feet. Relax them a little more. Empty your body completely. Empty it more and relax more. Check if any part of your body now is tense and just give it a moment to breathe and relax. And now taking our last deep inhale through your nose. And at the exhalation through the mouth, just open your eyes gently and let your hands come down naturally, opening them and closing them, being a little bit open and close, breathing in and out through your nose now, and see how that feels. How that felt here.
It's good.
Oh, great. So that even took us like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. And look how relaxed the body comes from that
Mm-hmm.
meditation. Just
Actually,
one
yeah,
more.
I was thinking like what's gonna be the outcome because we've done all kinds of different meditations. Like I remember when you did a meditation where I was able to remove the traumatic moment from my life. But like you said, this one just made me relax. Like
Mhm.
just like my body was relaxed.
Mhm.
But I wanted to say like it's amazing what you can do with meditations. Like you were saying, like, you can set up goals with guided meditation. You can set up like visualize your future dreams and everything like this. And like I did all of those with you when I started, but I also remember deleting some of the traumatic memories. Same way with guided meditation with you, and I actually was able to do that with something that was still bothering with me. Was like a week ago, there was something in my mind that was still bothering me from the past, and I used the same type of guided meditation that you do to remove it, and I was just amazed that it did work. Like when you learn to do it, like you have to have guidance in the beginning, but then after a while you're going to be able to do it by yourself as well.
Yeah. Yes. It's always, for me, mentorship has been always a key. I still use my mentor and because we need support. And I created a program that is amazing. It's the Nirvana program. It's a program online that it gives you every single method and mechanism to release crisis trauma, anxiety, and in 10 sessions, you get everything that you need to be and start by yourself. But at the beginning, like Pirate said, we need support, we need direction, we need guidance. And for me, it's been almost 16 years that I still keep using my mentors. I keep organizing my thoughts and my feelings because this is an ongoing, right? As long as we're living, we need to ongo our experiences, our practices within our body and within ourselves. But for me, and all this experience have led me to do this amazing program that is 10 sessions
Mm-hmm.
that, the reviews said it all. I have so many reviews, and as you're listening to the testimony of Pure, this has been my life mission. I love it. I really love you and support you, and I am so proud of you and so amazing what you become and what you are doing. I remember when you started talking about doing YouTube videos, and I'm so grateful that you invited me, and I can be of assistance and sharing this experience with me. It's absolutely magical for me. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm
So
here
it
for
worked.
anybody else that need it.
Yeah, it worked for me. Like I used your tools to make things work for me. But you know what? I want to point out one thing because even before right now, you mentioned this Nirvana project. I was in like today when I was preparing for the show, I was like made what I wanted to like, oh, I need to ask her about that project. And you started talking about it all by yourself. And I was like, as the way the universe and everything works when you're already connected to the wholeness, it's like you just like you I don't say you read my mind, but you were pretty much saying what I wanted you to say without me telling you to say it. So it
Yes,
was amazing
yes,
because I was like thinking, oh, at the end of the show, I want to ask her about the Nirvana project. And you started
yes.
talking about it. I was like, I haven't asked yet. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
cool.
I can read your mind. I can read your mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
So
basically
that
I
is
did it
cool.
because it's right on to the topic of what we started, because most people they want happiness, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand that it is not only about that. It is about connecting with yourself and being accepting of all the experiences that you had, good, bad, medium, and we have to accept every single experience that you have with so much understanding that this needed to happen to me so I can become this better person. So all
Mm-hmm.
my experiences needed to happen so I became this mentor that assists you. All your experiences needed to happen so you started doing your dream. So if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that, this was meaningless. This what this is the meaning of it. So I needed all my bad experiences, all my horrible experiences. I needed them in order for me to be able to support others. Because these experiences made me who I am today. And I keep getting obstacles. I got major obstacles in 2022. And I understood those obstacles. I understood those crises. I worked with my mentors, those crises and those obstacles of my life. He guided me through it with all these tools that I've learned. I use them every single day. I meditate every single day of my life for the past 16 years, and it has helped me tremendously. So the only thing I can tell your viewers is just look for guidance, look for mentors. You don't stick with that trauma because it will damage your central nervous system. That is what
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
causes cancer, high
Mm-hmm.
blood pressure, heart attacks, diabetes. It has been proven science once and once and
Yeah.
twice again.
Because a lot of people stay and they just like they have this trauma and they stay isolated at home, or they just like they whatever state, not even at home, but like in their life, and they just like feed more into it, and they even get like information that like confirms that they have a trauma instead of finding a way out and finding help and everything. I have your
Yes, yeah.
website listed here as well, but I wanted to say that Nirvana project, that is something they can do with you online as well, or just in a center online.
Yes, I do. I have two versions of it. I have the online version and I have the in presence version. I have people all over the world right now in this program. I have people from Spain doing this program.
Mm-hmm.
So from Mexico. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can do the Nirvana program. The only thing that I ask is that you have the discipline and the readiness to be on it because after these 10 sessions, I'm telling you, you are going to be different. You're going to feel different and you're going to start having more enjoyment in your life.
Mm-hmm.
This is my life works. And Piret know me from many years ago. And it's just been something that working with you guys was the most important part of creating this program because I found a pattern, right? I found a way of how the mind works, how this brain gets stuck in trauma. So let's take that images apart. It's just an image. What did I learn from that image? Question your ego, in this case, question Smith, and asking, how are we going to change this with physiology, with language, with focus, with meditation, with breathing, and just be part of it. Be part of the change. Don't
Mm-hmm.
create. Don't put it to sleep with
Yeah,
pills,
and don't
right?
get the most important thing. Don't get stuck to it. You have to move through, and like I said, like you do lot. I would say 100% time. Maybe like let's say somebody can do it by themselves, but like you have to find people to like help you get through it
Yeah,
because yourself, your brain just feeds more into it. So
yeah,
you have to surround yourself with the people who can help.
yeah,
Like when you're ready, actually, you would actually even lead you towards those people.
yeah.
Not
And
even when
that's
you're
it.
ready, you have to make yourself to be ready. You don't wait to be like, oh, maybe one day I'm gonna be ready to release this trauma. Now you have to just like push it.
And I see
So
sometimes people trying to do it by themselves. There's so much information up there, and they I call it infotoxication, right?
yeah.
There's so much information out there. Where do you start? What's best for me? Some things may work for you, some things may not work for another person. So my work is figuring out easy, fast how works for you because
Mm-hmm.
that's the knowledge that I have. I know that this could work for you better than you can work with this strategy better than this one. So you don't waste a lot of time and the energy you don't have because when someone is in trauma, they don't have the energy or the capacity or the mental ability to know what's best for them sometimes because you're in the trauma. So the support is is such an important part. When I was going through my obstacles, even though I am a master in wellness and holistic and
Mm-hmm.
mind, I couldn't do it because I was in a point of my mind, was in a point that my brain is dead right now. I need someone to guide me. And
Mm-hmm.
I was smart enough, humble enough that I did want to take care of my emotions and myself. That the first thing I did, I took my phone and I said, I need support. Guide me again on what this is that I
Mm-hmm.
need to do.
Yeah.
Because we're humans. We're
Mm-hmm.
humans. And we go through many ups and downs every day. So some days we have high energy, some days we don't. But we can
Mm-hmm.
accept it and move forward. And that is humbleness. I know that if there's something that is not in balance, not in homeostasis with me. I know it. So I need to fix it. And that is responsible. That is taking responsibility, accountability. But if I keep damaging others, if I keep putting my emotions to hurt others, if I
Mm-hmm.
keep hurting myself, then nothing is going to change. And that's what most people do. They either hurt you and you don't have the tools to get off it, or you hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to take accountability. We need to be responsible. And if you feel that you need support, call someone. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be so selfish that you keep hurting others because you're
Mm-hmm.
hurting yourself. So that
Yeah.
is my most important advice in this.
Hmm. Yeah, I could talk with you forever, but we have to end today as well. So, um, what would be your closing thoughts?
Well, I think one of the most important things, like I said, find a mentor. Always find a mentor. Understand that you are responsible for your actions, for your happiness, for your everything is your responsibility. Nothing is because of how I was raised or where I live or who did something to me. You have to be responsible for your body, your mind, and yourself. And again, when you feel that you need to find that joy within you and you don't know what to do, there's many resources are there. Just don't stick with it. Do something with your physiology, with your language, and with your focus. And I said those three topics, those 3 points are the most important of everything that we spoke here today.
Hmm. And the best way to contact you is this website, right?
Yes, you can contact me through All Senses Wellness Center. Facebook, again, you can find me and make appointments through Facebook as well. All Senses Wellness Center. We have a page. We have a group as well that is anxiety for alternative healing for anxiety. I give every week, I teach people for free different techniques. So if you want to be part of that group, I can send you the link later and you can add it as well in the comments so people can go and get these resources starting today. Facebook, allsenseswellnesscenter.com, or my group in Facebook. That would be so helpful. Also, Instagram. Just start with
Mhm.
the All Senses Wellness Center. You can find me there as well. And this is what I do. I give a lot of free resources so you don't have to, there's no excuse, right? There's no excuse.
Mhm. And there really is no excuse, but you just have to push yourself, and there's a way out of trauma always.
Yes,
There
I
is
know
always a
there.
way
I
out.
know, and there is, and I know
Mhm.
there is.
I know. And like they're all like the most important thing for me was like I knew that like that's what I wanted. I didn't want to stay there. Like it happened, but I didn't want to stay there. Like no way. It's like I wanted to like get back to like being happy and all the things. So that like you have to want it.
Yes,
So we're gonna end on this. So everybody please subscribe or push the like button and watch some other interviews that I have done. And there's some meditations for you as well. And have a good day. Thank you, Amy, for joining me. And
thank you.
see you, everybody else, in the next episode. Bye.